As you're heading out to the field, heading towards your first dot on the map, you want to start looking for a safe place to pull off in order to place the traps at the site. In town, this can be pretty easy. There's generally a lot of places to pull off on the side of the road. Try not to block driveways and such. In the country, it can be a little trickier. That's where this video here kind of illustrating the country area. You can see in the forefront of the video that there is a wide pull-out that is you can safely pull off and conduct your business.
This is a great example of a pull-off site. As you can see, it is wide and gravel, which indicates a firm surface allowing you plenty of space to safely pull off. You may have noticed that the trapper turned his blinker and strobe light on, indicating to other drivers that he was pulling off. When you are safely in park, make sure you turn your vehicle off and take your keys with you. When ready, make sure you grab your iPhone and have your high visibility vest on. As you can see here, this trapper has all of his supplies and is ready to go. Next, prepare the trap for placement. If asking for permission, it is best to bring completed traps with you so that the consenting party can see what they look like.
Labeling of the trap has three parts: the site number, the type of trap that is being placed, and the date in which it is being placed, and your initials. So the site number is made up of two numbers. First number is the county number. In this case, the number is 47, which is Marion County, the county which Salem is in. The second number has two parts. The first part of the number would be the trapper number, and this last three digits of this number is the site number, starting with 001 for each person. The next thing you want to do is label it either Gypsy Moth, GM, or Asian Gypsy Moth for AGM. Then below the site number, you need to put a P for placing of the trap, followed by the date, and then your initial after the date. Here's a demonstration of the two different types of traps. They're the same trap, but just labeled differently. One is GM and one is AGM. Oftentimes you come across a tree that is perfect, but there's no limb within reach to hang the trap on. So in this case, in this example, there was another tree down the way, which was also an oak tree, and was able to hang the trap on that one. Also, just want to make a note here, if the limb is a little bit too big around for the twist tie provided on the trap, you can always use another twist tie to make that longer to reach around a limb that might be too big. Once the trap is hung in the tree, it's time to get your phone out and use Trapman to record the trap and the site.
Entering data into Trapman is a very important step in the trap placement process. To do this, you will need to open up FileMaker Go, then choose Trapman and not Trapman Data. This will bring you to the main menu. The first step is to click on the Set Trap button. When you press it, three options come up as seen here. To continue to place your new site, select New Site. This brings up the Set Trap page where you enter in the barcode for your trap. You have two options. You can scan the barcode by clicking in the Tap to Scan field, or manually enter it by pressing Enter Number. We always recommend using the scan option and then editing it if needed. Next, press Continue, which brings you to the Select Pest page. You want to ensure you are selecting the correct pest based on your map legend symbology. If you do not see the pest you need on the drop-down list, you may fix this by going back to your Preferences screen and adding the pest as a preference. You will then want to make sure to select the correct survey. You can find this information on your map's key. Next, select the host plant that the trap was placed in or near. In the case of our trap, we placed it onto an oak tree. If you are unable to find the host on the list provided, select Other. Next, you will come to the page for trap services. During the initial trap placement, the service will show up in the service history, so updating this information is not necessary. Each time you go to a trap site, you will update this with the date and the type of trap service you are conducting by clicking in the services box and choosing from the list. Now we will move to the main trap site information. This is how you will find your trap in the future, so you want to ensure your information is as accurate as possible. Once you are as close to the trap site host as possible, press the satellite button in the top right-hand corner to record your lat long. You will need to refresh the lat long first. A pop-up will guide you through this. Once you have your lat long, make sure that the accuracy number is 10 or less. If the accuracy is not less than 10, try refreshing the GPS coordinate system and gathering the GPS data again for better accuracy. Press the pin below it to confirm the lat long is in the correct place. Next, you will need to ensure your map and county are correct. Continue to fill in the address, being as specific as possible. If you are working in a very rural area, try using the closest mailbox number or a crossroad intersection, such as Mill Street and River Street, or 0.5 miles north of the intersection at Mill and River Streets. This can be very helpful in finding your trap again. Next, you will select your trap site type. You have several options to choose from, and often more than one option could be correct. Try to pick the most accurate option for the location. In the case of the example, we placed it in an urban park next to a road, but the best option for the site location is park. For the survey category, most of you will never select anything other than the not applicable option. Lastly, input the type of consent you received for this trap placement. If you receive consent from an individual to place traps on private property, it is always best to get a contact name and add the contact to the notes section in the bottom right corner. Your survey coordinator will let you know what types of properties have prearranged consent. You may also add a photo to help locate the trap if you think it may be necessary. Do not add photos to every site though, as this is too much data and will significantly impact sync times.
So, unlike the gypsy moth traps, the Japanese beetle come with some assembly required. You'll see here on the table there is the Japanese beetle trap with its catch can on the bottom, a label laying right in the middle. Kind of hard to see, apologize for that. And a ring of barcodes and a JB stake, which hang the trap, and a paper clip. Okay, the first thing you'll need to do is get a barcode and attach it to the Japanese beetle trap tag. On here you can see there's contact information for the department, and so the goal here is to not cover up the contact info, but place the barcode below the line on the trap tag. So on the other side of the JB trap tag that you place the barcode is the area where you label the trap, the site number, and mark your services for the trap. In the upper left-hand corner, you place the site number, which is the same as GM for this site. So county is 47, trapper 25, and site number 1. And then in the upper right corner, you place the year, 21. The bottom left, you put your initials, and then in the bottom right, mark it as JB or Japanese beetle and Oriental beetle. And then the next step would be to mark your placement of the trap, which is done in blue Sharpies. And for all of these JB trap tags, we have extreme Sharpies, which helps resist fading in the sun. Here's a side-by-side comparison of what I mentioned a second ago. If it's just a JB trap, just label it with JB, but some of the JB traps will have also an Oriental beetle lure attached to it. So in that case, you would use JB/OB like on the trap tag on the right side. Okay, next step is to place the tag onto the JB trap. It fits right on at the narrowest point on the top part of the trap, as demonstrated here in the video. And once the trap tag is on, the next step is to put the paper clip on the metal hanger of the trap, as demonstrated. The next step is installing the lure into the trap. First, you'll have to remove the covering of the lure. The lure goes into the slit in the veins of the trap. And as you can see, I tried to install it upside down this way, and it is harder. So it is easier to install the lure when the pointy part is pointing upward, it seems.
Be careful when inserting an oriental beetle lure. You want to avoid touching the lure itself as it reduces the effectiveness. To do this, feel around the packet until you find the lure. Grab and hold on to the squishy part when opening the packet. Then, place the harder end into the trap as shown.
This site here is an excellent site for a Japanese beetle. It's got a lot of turf that is irrigated and stays green, and also got some road bushes around the edge of it, which is one of the favorite foods for Japanese beetle. At this site, I placed a trap at about 2.5 feet off the ground because of the road bushes. But if you just had nothing but turf in the area, you'd want to put the trap a little bit lower and closer to the ground.
Once your Japanese beetle trap is placed, pull out your iPhone again and enter it into Trapman.
How to add a piggyback trap in Trapman. There are multiple ways to do this. The easiest way is by clicking Add Trap in the bottom center of the site screen. Once you press the Add Trap button, follow the prompts to input your information. It will go through the same process as placing a trap. As always, ensure you choose the correct pest. You can view all traps placed at a site by clicking the Traps button in the bottom left corner of the site page. From here, you have the ability to add another trap or edit information for other traps at this site. If you accidentally click out of the site before adding your piggyback or other important information, you can access the site again from the main menu page and using the site list. Clicking the top banner of any page will bring you to the main menu page unless you are setting up a site. For more information, please check the Trapman user manual.
After all your traps are placed, head back to your vehicle to fill out the trap card.
The first field on the trap card is the county number. We've assigned all counties in Oregon an odd number which can be found on your Trapper map or in Trapman. The site number is made up of your series plus a unique 3-digit number. This is generated by Trapman and assigned in ascending order starting with 001. The year field is important because these cards can be saved for up to 99 years in some cases. The map name and number can be found on the Trapper map, which is the paper map issued to you showing all of the planned traps in an area. The location field should be filled in with the GPS coordinates in decimal degrees collected by Trapman. In some instances, you may also use a handheld GPS device or other means to collect this data. Record the nearest street address in the address field. If you do not have an address, use a description. For example, 1/4 mile west of Highway 30 on River Road. In this section of the trap card, you will check any of these descriptions that apply to your site. You will know if the site is delimitation, high risk, or mass trapping based on the dot on your Trapper map. The others are self-explanatory, but don't forget to use them. Site flagged and handout provided can be especially useful to you later in the season. Depending on the version of the trap card that you are using, this next section may be labeled as comments or barcode. Either way, you should write the trap barcodes here. If there are more than one, indicate which is which. The large grid on the bottom of the trap card is the services record. Each time you visit a site, you will fill out one row, and each trap will have its own column. Record all services performed each time you visit a site using the activity codes listed in the next box. The activity codes themselves are fairly self-explanatory, and they will also be written on the body of some traps. If you are volunteering to set traps for the ODA, your trap card will also have a section in this box for you to record the agency or organization you are with. There are 3 options in the consent box. First, we have verbal. Check this box if you spoke to a resident or landowner to obtain permission. Write their name and any contact info or instructions for access below. Next, we have prearranged. When using the public right-of-way, abbreviated as ROW, we do not need to obtain permission. There may also be public land managers that have granted us blanket permission. If either of these is the case, check the prearranged box and record the agency granting permission, or ROW. Last, we have administrative warrant. This is a very special case, and you will know if it is applicable. The large empty box on the trap card is the space for the site diagram. The site diagram is a top-down drawing of the site which shows the exact location of the trap or traps. The map and GPS coordinates will get you to the site, but this diagram is used to find the trap. Always include the road name and at least one access street or landmark, the host used for the trap, and a sketch of the nearest house labeled with the address and color where possible. Always draw the diagram with north towards the top of the card to agree with the compass rose. Include as many pertinent details as you can without crowding the box. Fences, lampposts, driveways, mailboxes, bridges, signs, and other trees and bushes are all important elements to include. You may also indicate where to park, where to walk, or hazards to avoid, such as poison oak. Diagrams should always be drawn while you are still on site, but after placing the trap. Note that, though these may not always seem necessary, say the trap is obvious and can be found with the GPS alone, they become very important in some situations. There may be times that someone else has to service sites that you have set, and what may be obvious to you may not be obvious to them. Sites also change throughout the year. Grass grows and construction happens. Finally, a trap may be stolen or moved by a member of the public. A good site diagram allows us to be more confident that a trap is missing, reducing time spent searching. A good rule to follow is to draw your site diagram so that someone else can find the trap using only your trap card.